listen to the radio. My car is a radio.
She should be so mad you made her sound like that. She did not sound like that.
My car has a radio. Like, yeah, how do you think you guys listened to me for all those years? I thought it was still on an app. I thought mommy was stupid. All right, before we begin the show, let's thank our sponsors. First and foremost, our title sponsor, Once Upon a Coconut, all natural, non-GMO coconut water with natural electrolytes and no added sugar. You can choose from pure blueberry, pineapple, watermelon, sparkling energy, and chocolate flavors with Once Upon a Coconut. Stay hydrated and refreshed. And if you're wondering why it tastes so darn good, it's due to a combination of factors, including the freshness and sweetness of young coconut water, the lack of additives, and the natural electrolytes present. And the best part about it, Once Upon a Coconut, 10% of profits go to charity that benefit our communities, including the Down Syndrome Foundation, Breast Cancer Foundation, Leukemia Society. Good things, good people, great product. So you can grab it at some Sprouts. You can grab it on Amazon. You can go online to find a store near you or purchase it right there off of their website, onceuponacoconut.com. It is delish. Big thanks to Inspect All Pest Services, our buddy Nick and the crew over at Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. That's not all they do. Inspect All can take care of your insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and other home services in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. Remember, seasonal, you get different bugs and critters all around your house, so you want to go with the best in the business, and that would be one of our fine sponsors from day one, InspectAllServices.com. It's the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, with the Aurora Law Firm, best darn defense attorney in the world, litigating all over the United States, based out of Georgia. We're talking criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. And you can always get your legal questions answered by the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, by getting those to me. And when he pops up on a show, you get your questions answered. So go to thebaileyshow.com and we'll get those questions to the Mad Dog. The Aurora Law Firm.com. He is the best in the business when it comes to therapists. There's no doubt about that. I use them, and so should you. We're talking about Dr. David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. He's got 10 therapists in-house, 3 different locations there in Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains in East Cobb, Marietta near the Square in McKaysville, just outside of Blue Ridge. But if you're not in Georgia and you need to talk to the good doctor, then you can go online and get virtual sessions. RidgelineCounseling@gmail.com if you'd like to email him directly, or go online to markwelltherapy.com. There is no better time to check if your insurance is any good. That's why FBC Insurance is waiting for you to reach out. You can call them at 888-308-1841 or email them info@FBCinsuranceservices.com. I just switched up my car insurance because I got a better deal at FBC Insurance. They were the people to find it. Perfect for new homeowners, especially if you're trying to reshop those current insurance policies. 5-star service, multi-policy, bundled discounts, and they're going to shop every carrier out there to find the best insurance for your house, flood, storm season, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, or just a personal policy. 888-308-1841 or go online, FBCinsuranceservices.com. Another one of our great sponsors in storm season. You have to talk to the good people at Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia. Family owned and operated. They are a Generac generator dealer, founded in 2012. So storm season, power goes out. Who knows when it's coming back on? Don't be that guy or girl that does not have a backup plan and having power for whatever it be, especially medical devices, fans, air conditioning, so on and so forth. Offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators, every single one of you. When you become a customer at Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia, you get an upgraded warranty, free monitoring, and warranty repair. A+ rating with the BB&B, and you pay nothing until the job is complete. Call or request a free home assessment. You can go to their website, poweringgeorgia.com, or buzz them at 770-853-7571. Use the discount code Bailey, my last name, and get $500 off your entire installation. All right? Servicing Georgia and Tennessee. Again, another great sponsor of the BS podcast that is going to come to your aid here during storm season. And I'm talking about Cliff Bratcher and Jayco Contracting. This one hits home for me because I needed advice from Cliff and Jayco Contracting when my mother got a hole in her roof. Now, Jayco Contracting helping the good folks out in Georgia. And if you're in Georgia, you call him this storm season just to know that you're going to be taken care of when that tree falls through your roof or your shingles come off or a hole somehow appears. products, right? They are a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, licensed and insured roofing and gutter specialists covering all of Georgia. Keep in mind, if you've not gone through this process, Cliff and Jayco Contracting are going to take care of it from start to finish. That means dealing with the insurance companies. That can be a headache and a negotiation, and they're the best to do it. Commercial and residential satisfaction guaranteed. JaycoContracting.com, or 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You give Cliff Bratcher a call at 770-316-3876. Alive Ozone Therapy Spa in Altamont Springs, Florida. This is mine and my wife's wellness spa. If you have an autoimmune, cancer, HIV, just simple biohacking, long COVID, the answer is yes to just about anything that's going on in your body. Most of the time it starts with inflammation, and ozone therapy, it decreases inflammation. So ozone therapy, we are the first and only to do it in Central Florida. That is a live ozone therapy spa. We also offer red light therapy, halo therapy, pressotherapy, PMF grounding mat, as well as naturally in-house made ozone infused products like the magnesium butter that many of you absolutely love. Ozone therapy, what is it? Quickly, it repairs and rejuvenates your cells to the mitochondrial level by using activated oxygen. Simple as that. No side effects. That's all there is to it. It's a 30-minute session, and you actually burn up to 600 calories when you're in the Hocket sauna. We do it the most non-invasive way. So whether you're in the area or you want to travel, book an appointment, aliveozonetherapyspa.com. All the products you can get there as well. And remember, for you two peers, use the discount code BS10 to take that off those online products. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, reach out to me via thebaileyshow.com. And if you are a listener of this podcast and you need any of our great sponsors, please reach out to them. Now, let's begin.
Go ahead and leave a comment about how you deal with your children leaving home while I recover.
Honey, I raised the kids.
Our kids leaving the nest is never easy. So in order to cope, Jason and Rachel have decided to share the journey of their kids, Caleb and Ariel, or Beez as most know her. Follow the story in this podcast.
Honey, I raised the kids.
There it is. Episode 62 of the Honey, I Raised the Kids podcast. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey. There's my lovely wife, Rachel Guy.
Hey, y'all.
Collectively, we are known as RAEJAE.
But this is the best. You can be J Ray today.
Oh, because my birthday.
Yeah, because of your birthday. I'll let you go first.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Huh. What's your day?
Well, for the first time ever, collectively, we are known as J Ray.
J Ray.
Just doesn't have the right
No, it's me first.
tingy ring to it, but
that's fine.
I agree. Finally, we're getting through all of the birthdays. So Beez's birthday was on the 28th of May. Rachel's was on the 30th of May. Mine was on June 7th. We had Mother's Day in there. I think the last hurdle that we have to jump through was Father's Day.
Yep.
And then it's full-blown football season.
That's it. There's nothing else.
There's nothing in between. 4th of July doesn't count.
We have to take Beez back to school.
That
so
doesn't
she
count.
Can go back for football season too. Different kind of football season.
Oh, shit.
College football season.
When do we have to take her back?
The last week of July.
July.
Yeah.
Not August.
No.
Oh.
She has to be to school, and don't worry, it's not gonna mess with fantasy football, because she has to be there. I think the first week of August is rush week, so she's got work week. She has to be there for the sorority for working.
I was worried. I thought that we would have to move our daughter back to the University of Alabama at the end of August, beginning of September.
No.
And that would have totally screwed with my fantasy football draft, which means she would have had to have skipped her junior year at the University of Alabama.
No, she's gonna be like, I don't think so.
What happened to your career? My dad had a fantasy football draft. He wouldn't let me go back to school.
Worry. He said no more for you. You're done. We're not doing this anymore.
Do you want to tell everybody the conversation that we had? So here's this episode, the theme of this episode. So before we tell you this story, as a parent, what do you pass down to your kids as far as entertainment wise goes? Have you become your parents that you swore you never were going to be? where it was like in my day, we listened to records. In my day, we had 8-tracks. You had it, so like for us, it would be in my day, we had CDs and cassettes, those types of things.
I don't think, do they even have cars with cassette players anymore?
No. So I bought a Lexus it was a 2006 Lexus. And at that time, technology was coming along pretty good.
Yeah.
And that Lexus had a cassette player and a CD player in it.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. That was the story. I had to go to Best Buy.
I remember, I was there.
And have them do a port so I could plug my MP3 player.
My phone. Belinda Carlisle. I remember.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth?
And the big butchy lesbian was just like, what?
Best day ever.
Best day ever. So
we went to the cell phone store to switch.
Yeah, after 20 plus years.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye, AT&T. Hello, Verizon.
It's like I don't want to trash AT&T because but it was time to move on, and
it was time.
I think AT&T has some things to figure out as far as customer service goes, because it was like night and day dealing with AT&T and Verizon. I mean, and I've been AT&T loyal since 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, loyal because I endorsed them, and I have friends there, and I still, I'm loyal. I'm loyal to my brands,
I know you were, and I mean, as much as I was Verizon and had Verizon since I had a phone, in high school, and then
that's different.
No, why is that different?
I know people in the corporate office, they paid for my cell phone bill for 10 years.
I know. I'm saying I had Verizon, and I've had Verizon since I had a phone, and then we switched over as a family.
Yeah, as a family.
To you.
Yeah.
And AT&T.
Yeah. Well, I thought I would. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had AT&T for a long time.
Yeah.
And now we're back to Verizon.
Back to Verizon. Well, me for the first time, but I saved so much money. I mean, I literally saved almost $2,000. We all got new devices, new watches, upgrades. I got the cool new watch, the big thick one. Didn't have to pay a cent when I left.
I like it when you have a big thick watch.
Yeah, it's a lady getter. But there were issues, but it wasn't on Verizon's side. It was on AT&T side.
Yeah, it was massively on AT&T side.
And I don't think we're done these issues yet either.
So crazy.
And so they had to bring my mom in the next day. I mean, and then her phone couldn't get done because my ID, for some reason, it locked me out of my account. So
AT&T did.
It was
crazy.
I mean, like buying a car is easier than buying cell phones nowadays.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So during this process, the phones have to download updates and transfer everything over. And you're kind of it was taking a minute because of the issue with my phone with AT&T. And so Beez phone was going faster than everybody. So it was in that update phase where it was doing all of the switchover part. And I was like, all right, we're going to send you home now while we finish, because my parents and my sister and my brother was in town, and we were hosting dinner, and it was already like an hour after we were supposed to be hosting dinner. So we sent her home, and she's like, I don't know how, I don't have GPS. I have to be able to get home. And then she's like thinking through the directions in her head of how to get home. And she's like, I don't know what to do. And then she said, it was the funniest thing ever. Oh man, I can't listen to my music on the way home. What am I going to listen to on the way home? Mm-hmm. And you and I both looked at her and said, the radio?
I couldn't believe that she had no idea.
And she's like, what? My car doesn't have a radio. And I about peed myself laughing. It was so funny. And I'm looking at Radio Man's face over here. How do you feel about that, Radio Man? She legit had no idea that her car has a radio in it.
So when you listen to me on the radio and you're in the car, what did she think was happening?
It was from an app.
It was from an app.
Streaming from an app. We were streaming you on the radio.
She never realized, which you can do, but she just didn't realize that it was through a frequency.
Yeah. She had no idea.
She's 20,
Yeah.
mind you.
Yeah.
Our friends. And she had no, I mean, like, as a 30-year radio veteran, and the question is out there of, is radio dead or dying?
There's your answer.
That's your answer. I mean, like,
Holy hell.
that makes me real sad.
So sure, her car, and she has a new car. So I mean, it's a 2022. It's a new car, and it's got the screen, and it's got Apple CarPlay and all of the things. So she just gets in her car and her phone connects, and it does everything. Like, it's a smart car. Okay. It does anything and everything that she needs for it to do. And what?
No, go ahead. I'll tell you in a second.
And she didn't know that since her phone couldn't connect to the car, her radio app, all of her apps couldn't connect, and she can't stream and listen.
I couldn't believe
We had to tell her how to do it.
that we had to explain to our 20-year-old daughter that her car has a radio in it.
Yeah, and all you have to do is turn the knob to change the channels.
Even as a kid growing up, I knew where the 8-track cassette went in my mother's Chevy Cordova.
Right.
Right. Like, I knew where the 8-track went. I knew that the big disc that my grandmother was playing Bing Crosby on, I knew that sat on the circle, and then you put the needle on it because I watched.
So, for the last 4 years since she's been driving, because since she started driving at 16, and now she's 20, she's never used the radio in her car. Ever. Never used the radio in her car.
Never, Lamb.
And she thought that when I would listen, it was just through an app.
Yeah, everything's through an app.
Yeah.
Everything streams.
I'm just streaming.
That's mind blowing.
I mean, I have the radio I have the radio in my car, obviously. Everybody does. I don't use it very often. I got to listen to you. It's streaming.
I got to tell you, I don't know if I was mad, dumbfounded, or what, when Ariel said that she did not realize her car had a radio.
And she didn't know how to use it.
And she didn't know how to, how am I supposed to get home without my phone, without my music, listen to the radio? My car is a radio.
She should be so mad you made her sound like that. She did not sound like that.
My car has a radio. Like, how do you think you guys listened to me for all those years? I thought it was still an app. I thought mommy was stupid. I'm like,
what?
Beez.
Technically, I was. I mean, in the car, I was not.
Yeah, in the car, you were not. In the house, you were.
Yeah.
But in the car, you were. How do you not know your car doesn't have a radio? I don't know. What's a radio? I'm like,
she's
wow.
So pissed that you made her sound like that.
I love her to death. You know that. But I mean, that's how I'm reading. That's how
she sounds in your head.
Yeah, that's how she sounds right now.
I sound real dumb in your head too. I don't think I like this.
Okay.
Your head is real dumb.
My head's smart.
No, I think it's your head.
I think
That's not us. That's you. Why did the voices in your head sound so awful?
Oh, why do you sound awful?
Why I sound awful? Hey, are you dying over there?
Yeah, I'm dying.
This is 50.
This is 50. Yeah, that's, man. So I don't usually I'm not the birthday chest pounder guy. It's like, it's my birthday, I move on, no big deal. But for my birthday this year, I was going to play the night before in a poker tournament, but I went to the wrong poker room. It was in Daytona, and I went to Orange City instead. And I like Orange City better just because all my friends are there and I know everybody there. And I walk in and I hadn't been there in a couple weeks, which is a long time in the poker world. And I walk in and everybody was in there, and all my friends that I played 2-5 with, and they're like, "Oh my God, we were worried about you. Where have you been?" And this and this and this and that. And poker players are weird. Like, they won't text you unless it's like 3 weeks out. If it's 3 weeks, they're going to get real concerned and text you, but it has to be about that 3 or 4 week time before they actually reach out to you. Anyway, so I'm walking in, I see them. Oh my God, where have you been? We got worried about you in 1 minute. And I was like, nah, I just had a bad run and, just needed to take a break and step away. And I'm going to play more tournaments but the tournaments, it's not here tonight, blah, blah. So I went and I played 1-2. I dumbed my game down a little bit just because it was getting so expensive. And I did pretty well over there. And then they called me for 2-5 and that's everybody was playing. So I walked over and actually did pretty good over the 2-5 table. And I had a lot of fun. And it was the night before my birthday. But anyway, so like I'm telling everybody, I go, guys, it's my birthday, couple hour, 30 minutes, go easy on me. If we get in a hand, go ahead and fold. Man, poker players are ruthless. They're like,
they're like, nah.
Yeah, this is like a Hispanic guy who I play with all the time. Really nice guy, very quiet, but he was eating wings, And I said that, and he goes, "Hey man, it's not your birthday for another 2.5 hours until then we take your money."
Does he know he sounds like that?
No, I don't know.
The voices in your head are brutal.
The 2.5 hours, we take your money up until 2.5 hours, and then we think about giving you a break. And then,
is he Russian?
no, he's Mexican.
Oh, okay.
Mexican Russian.
All right.
He's
the voices in your head.
Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah, there you
go. Got it.
So anyway, but they didn't give me a break, but it was
you had fun.
It was fun. And I left right after midnight when I turned 50. I don't know. I got to get through this next week to see how I feel about this 50.
Does that mean that your midlife crisis is going to be over?
I think so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a full blown midlife. No,
you were going through it.
Full blown. Well, full blown would be there'd be a red Corvette in the driveway.
I mean, all right. You want to trade your truck in?
On top of the truck.
Oh, on top of the truck.
That's full blown. Yeah.
That's a lot of vehicles.
But I got to tell you, when I turned 50, like leading up to it, I was dreading it.
Yeah.
But when I turned 50,
yeah,
I kind of got this different approach, this different ideology.
It's like magic.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah. When I was at the poker room, this is why I told the poker room story. When I was at the poker room telling everybody that I was turning 50, there was a lot of people who were like, well, my birthday's coming up. My birthday's coming up. My birthday's coming up. And they were all younger than me, some significantly. And my mind was blown that they looked like that at that age. So,
dude, you sure you're not going to be 50? You look like you got ran over by a Mack truck.
Dude,
you.
They just didn't take care of themselves. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. So I think I'm okay with it.
Ozone fixes that.
I guess so. Yeah. Something fixes it because compared to these other dudes, I'm straight Air Janeiro. Hey, going back to the Beez radio thing, can you think of anything that your parents would tell you about their day when you were growing up that you were just like, oh God, that's so stupid?
So, my parents didn't really talk about a whole lot about when they were growing. They would just tell us like dumb things,
like music wise or entertainment wise.
So, so my dad would listen to a lot of religious music, or, oh yeah, here's a good one. So, my dad would listen to a lot of religious music, or like he loves the Eagles, and
okay,
yeah, and every Saturday morning he'd get up and like Saturday was cleaning day. So you clean and you got all your chores all day on Saturday and you're going to do all that. So dad starts the day with music blasting and he's dancing through the house. So much fun. But when my parents first started dating, mom was the rebel and she went to all the different concerts. I think she saw Elvis. Elvis was my grandmother's favorite.
Your grandmother's favorite?
My mom's mom.
Really?
Yeah. So she was like everything Elvis, everything Elvis.
Wow.
And
that's kind of odd because that generation was appalled by Elvis.
Oh no, my mom loved him. Like,
Mama was a freak.
yeah, she had Elvis. I mean, like literally everything in the house was Elvis.
Oh.
And she passed away when I was, I want to say like 8 or 9. I was young. And mom had gone because she grew up in Philly. So she went and walked by herself with her little friends in Philadelphia to all these different concerts. She's seen anybody and everybody you could possibly think of back in the day, like even before they were a thing. And she had this crazy record collection. And when she started dating my dad said that it was the devil's music and he burned all her records.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Like, lit that
That's
shit on
freaky.
fire.
Lit that shit on fire.
Yeah.
Your grandma was like, "Hey, Bernard, stop burning my record."
I do remember that because mom was like pretty salty about it.
You know, the technology during my upbringing, as far as the entertainment side of things. So when I was a kid, you know, it was 8-tracks and records, which was still normal to my mother and even my grandmother, you know, for the most part, you know, like the technology, and I'm talking, you know, single digits up until, you know, 12, 13 years old. You know, my grandmother wasn't like, what is this cassette thing going on? You know, so she still understood the concept, even though she still listened to records. So there wasn't, my point is there wasn't like this technological advance of those years that separated the generations from my grandmother to my mother to me. Now, as I started, you know, then the cassettes came in and then the CDs came in shortly after. I mean, cassettes had been out long before. I mean, cassettes had been out all my entire childhood. But then the CDs was the game changer. And actually, when CDs were out, they tried to reconstruct the CDs, the mini CDs. They called them something else. They're just,
I don't remember what they called it, and it did not work.
It did, which was crazy. I thought it would. I remember, I still vividly remember a display at Best Buy where they were little cartridges, and I thought they were so cool, where you would just kind of shove it in and listen to the music. I don't know why I never caught on. I mean, it literally,
They're probably too small.
It was in and out in a second. It was done. So, you know, the CD revolution was a thing. So that's like the biggest gap, right? Would be CD, record to CD, and then CD to streaming now, like the story with Beez and the radio and everything is streaming.
Like cars still have CD players in them.
Yeah, but to have something tangible is just no way, Jose.
Yeah.
It's just not even happening.
They're like, why do I have a playlist for that?
So the only thing like that, you know, obviously growing up without a dad, or not obviously, but in case you didn't know, didn't have a dad, my stepdads never really opened up about their childhood. I never really got a personal stuff from them, but, you know, for my mother and, you know, maybe guys that would talk to me that were hurt, it was more the entertainment stuff, because my generation, Gen X, growing up, we were the pioneers of the of the game consoles. So, you know, you go all the way back.
Atari.
Right. Well, you go back to Pong, and then in television, or not in television. In television, I think was one.
This is 50, y'all.
Coleco, or like there are all these like offshoot ones, and then, you know, the Atari 2600 was the big one, and then it got to the Nintendo, and the Nintendo just changed the entire game. So it was this gaming world, and then Sega came in, and you were either Sega or Nintendo. And then years later it was Xbox and Sony and that kind of thing. But, you know, like my brother, who's 10 years older than me, he loved the Atari and the video games. Never really got into the Nintendo and the Xbox stuff, but he was a big Atari guy. And that was probably the, you know, when I was a kid, we'd get out of the house and stop on those video games. You know, that was that's where that came from, right? It was back in my day, if we wanted to have a good time, we'd go outside and kick the can. You know, those types of stories that you would hear, they would always kind of downgrade the staying in. I mean, we would make it a thing. Now, the gaming world has changed immensely.
Yeah, now it's like You get paid to do that.
Well, outside of that, it's fucking weird. You know, they watch each other on video.
Yeah,
Like,
they watch each other play games
that's
on
the
YouTube.
that's the weirdest thing that I literally, it's the oddest thing that I've ever heard my entire life in America. We made it a point. That's why those games like Zelda and stuff were never big amongst me and my friends, because they were first person games.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't have a 2-player sports game or a 2-player game just in general, then what the fuck, man? Nobody wants to sit at your house
And watch
you play a video game.
Little did you know.
Yeah. I mean,
You didn't know.
it's like when you went to the arcade and you put the quarters up to be next.
You could have been a professional Zelda player by this point.
I never played Zelda. I never was a Zelda guy.
Everybody could have been watching you now.
I was never a Zelda guy. I was
Well,
I was a Madden guy. I was a baseball guy. I was a college
sports.
football guy. Sports, yeah, because it was like me and Peacock, and we'd all play. You know, we'd get everybody at the house and be like, "Oh, you can play first quarter and play second quarter." You know, we'd have fun. We made it a game within a game. And now it's like, oh, Jimmy Skeets 455 is going to level 8 to the final boss of this game, and I'm just watching. He's got 5 million downloads and he's making $1 million a week. And it's like, what the shit? It makes no sense whatsoever. It's the most
Jimmy Skeets.
Jimmy Skeets 569. What the shit? Mm.
Yeah.
So that's probably, comparing it to Beez and the radio,
Yeah.
that probably the closest that I could come to it was the entertainment world. We didn't, outside of the stories, my mom would pass down stories of, and I remember watching the Nelson Brothers, the music video on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew him as these two blonde hair guys that I was like, this is cool. Cause at the time, I mean, that would have been like 89, I guess ish. No, 80, 88 probably. And, I was in all that music, hair metal and stuff like that. My mom comes in and goes, oh my God, that's Ricky Nelson's kids. Who the fuck's Ricky Nelson? And
I know that.
she tells me about, her crush on Ricky Nelson. He died in a plane crash. These were his kids and this and that. I'll never, ever forget that. And,
your mom had a crush on someone?
Well, that was the kicker. Like, I didn't give a shit about Ricky Nelson. I didn't give a shit about the Nelson twins. But for my mom to come in here and tell me that information.
He was beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Mom got to see like freaking everybody right in their up and coming.
Mom was a hippie.
Yeah. She saw everybody. She went to all the concerts, did all the cool stuff.
She's probably a druggie too.
Yeah. Probably.
I mean,
I'm sure she smoked weed.
60s and second. Yeah.
And then
she's
she
not
was like
doing heroin, but
freaking boss beast on us not doing things.
You wonder why unless she had like a really bad experience, or she just doesn't want your stories to trump hers.
Oh, my stories trump yours, lady.
Yeah. God, I hope not. I hope that's not
just
true.
Kidding. I have not been able to go to that many concerts. That's awesome. I mean, like, to see all of those incredible, and that was before when they were like actual musicians, right? And they're like all playing their craft, and they can all sing, and they're not like auto-tuned or anything like that. They're like actual musicians.
That's another thing Beez doesn't realize. She's like, oh my God, they play instruments? Like,
they're
what?
They're all like can sing and play all of the things.
What are you talking about?
If you have one, like they had like a bunch of the different guys. What was the documentary we were watching where like a bunch of the guys back in the day on like the Yacht Rock?
The Yacht Rock, yeah.
Yeah, on the Yacht Rock documentary. They all, if you've heard one of the songs, they're all like interchanged through like the same musicians are on all of those songs.
Well, most music's like that. And most of the songs, that Beez listens to in the top 40 world, they were written by somebody else that actually sang them originally.
Yeah.
And it just didn't go anywhere because they didn't have the backing. So they ended up selling the song to the artist. And they make it famous just because it's like their content, their creativity is.
Oh, Taylor Swift sang this.
Taylor Swift writes her own stuff. So she's like, she's the anomaly. She's the combination. But like Beyonce or, all the Eminem, a lot of rappers will take the music from really good songwriters and do it. Here's why I had the weird face. So your mother
Mm-hmm.
text me
Yeah.
$25 for my birthday
Why?
because she wants me to go to Jeremiah's and get Jeremiah's.
Oh.
Yeah. But $25 is a lot of Jeremiah's. That's very
You
sweet.
get a big extra
Literally.
large.
Yeah. I mean,
She probably wanted you to take me and Beez with you.
yeah, but still, I'm going to have money left over. $25 is a lot of money for Jeremiah's.
I don't know, babe.
You know?
That's...
And they gave me a free small guy for my birthday.
Ooh.
I know.
That's exciting.
I know. I know.
And I made you cake.
That cake was literally the best
Mm-hmm.
cake that I've ever had my entire life in America. I was so
Thanks.
surprised when I came home from the poker room and it was my birthday the next day. My birthday was June 7th, just to let you know. And so Rach was up waiting for me. And I got him like around 12:20 or something. And she had made this little bundt cake of orange and vanilla because that's my favorite. I like the creamsicle. Remember back in the day, the creamsicle push-up pops?
Mm-hmm.
The best.
Yeah.
The best thing you
I
could get out of the
remember.
ice cream truck with those push-up pops. There
Like
was
the sherbet push-up pop.
It was either that one or the strawberry shortcake, but it wasn't a pop,
Yeah.
but it was more like a cake and it had the little things on the
Yeah.
Oh my God. Those are two. While these other kids are getting the stupid stuff, the Choco Tacos and these dumb shit.
I do love me a good Choco Taco.
Oh, dude, push-up pops, you cannot beat. They're so simple. They're technologically, they're way advanced.
Yeah.
You know, where you have the thing that pushes up, that little plastic thing afterwards, you can do something with it. You can turn it into a caulk gun.
Arts and crafts. You've got activities.
So much stuff going on there.
Yeah.
It was physical. It had a physical plastic
So you liked
mechanism.
You liked it so much because it was purposeful.
It made sense.
It made sense.
They
Okay.
put a lot of work into it.
Okay.
And they were delicious. So
Yeah.
Rach made me this like orange vanilla bundt cake, and like I needed to have that before I went to bed. But it was so delicious and it was so good.
And there's more.
And there's just the birthday week continues, I
Yeah.
guess. And I didn't expect that.
You
So
didn't even know.
So this podcast episode starts the week out, right? For the rest of the week on the BS feed, which, you know, we'll be changing probably sooner than later. I'm going to be changing some things up, but you know, you have the BS on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as of right now. 2 of those episodes are subscriber episodes. So, you know, if you're interested in to support what we do and in the BS and all that stuff and all the episodes, please, I would suggest that you subscribe. There's hundreds of locked episodes that exist on Spotify that you can always go back and listen to with some great guests, great conversations, different incarnations of the show. If you're, you know, like a podcaster listener and you're looking for other forms of entertainment, so on and so forth, you can go to thebaileyshow.com. Last week, we had launched a new podcast that is released on Fridays. It's free. It's called The Vinyl Road. It's myself and my buddy Brad Stewart, who's the bassist for Saliva. He's the original bassist for Shinedown, was also in Fuel, worked with Puddle of Mud. He's been in the business for over 3 decades. He's got all kinds of great stories from the road and more. And that's what the podcast is going to be about. It's rock and roll stories from the road, life and everything in between. Our first episode, so much positive feedback. It has been fantastic. So there's a lot of legs on that podcast on the BS feed. So please support that. Reach out to Brad on social media. Tell him you're digging it. Remember Saturdays on WJRR in Orlando and Planet Radio in Jacksonville. The podcast is syndicated. So there's a condensed version of the BS that airs on both of those radio stations. If you are not in those listening areas, you can go to iHeartRadio media app, download it, listen there. I asked that, bless you. I asked that you, if you could post on their social media, if you kind of, it's cool because we take the podcast, or I take the podcast and chop it up, and then we put music around it and stuff. So just go to their social media and say you dig it, you like it, and whatnot. It makes us look good. Our title sponsor, Once Upon a Coconut, cannot thank you guys enough. Once again, you're the best, and this is a great relationship. If you come into a live ozone therapy spa in Altamont Springs, Florida, while supplies last and until we get stocked back up, but we have free Once Upon a Coconut to give out after you're done an ozone therapy session or halo or presso or red light or whatever the case may be. But you can go to onceuponacoconut.com. You can order it online, or you can find a store near you. I know that they just got into the state of Georgia, so it's brand new in Georgia.
It's so good.
So good.
Oh my
Try the
God.
chocolate Once Upon a Coconut. It is like a U2 awesome, healthy U2.
Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo, not U2. U2's Joshua Tree. So, and if you want to be a sponsor of the show, if you know, we could help you out in any way possible, please reach out to me. Again, all the information is thebaileyshow.com. Like, share, and follow all the content on social media at Listen to the BS on YouTube, which seems to be our fastest growing social media channel. Please follow that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at The Bailey Show. But again, all the information on thebaileyshow.com. And if you want to order anything, especially for Father's Day coming up, liveozonetherapyspa.com, like the magnesium butter, the tallow, a generator. I know a 2P'er just got a generator. Any of that kind of stuff, especially for dad. We also have like this like elixir for the hair, you know, that's falling out, you know, right? Is that what it's called? Elixir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hair care.
The hair care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad might like that. And this is all naturally in-house made ozone infused products. You can go to liveozonetherapyspa.com. Use the discount code BS10. I know we had an issue with it last week. We fixed it. It had expired. I'm sorry. I apologize, but thank you for letting us know, because it's rocking and rolling and it's back into effect. So BS10 and get your discount. Thank you for joining us this episode. You got anything before we get out?
But yeah, I'm going to go drink a Once Upon a Coconut U2.
I know. You too.
Yeah.
Coconut, bloody coconut. All right, look, have yourself a great week. As always, we appreciate the support. Thanks for listening. And always remember, you do have a radio in your car. I promise you it works. You should listen to it every once in a while and support the industry.
Surprise.
Surprise! Like what? All right. Thanks for the support. We'll talk to you soon. And bye.
I realize not everyone feels this way. And if you are okay with this stage of your life, honestly, more power to you.
Thanks for listening. Get more information at episodesonthebaileyshow.com.
Honey, I raised the kids.
Subscribe at thebaileyshow.com. Yeah, baby.